Hey, what's going on, guys? I have another knife to review for you today. Now, before I get into the knife review, I just want to mention that I'm playing around with lighting a little bit, and so if the lighting seems a little bit funny, it's because I'm just doing some testing, and I have to make alterations, either different types of bulbs or maybe some coloration changes in editing. But either way, comments are always welcome down below. You let me know how the quality is. All right, so what we have here today is a GANZO branded knife. All right, this is a model G717-B. Okay, the -B is basically one of the variants. There's a couple different versions of this knife right now. And this is in the same category as San Remu knives and B brand knives, stuff like that. There's a couple different manufacturers. Actually, I think it might even be all stemming from the same company or the same factory. But anyway, it's in that same category as super cheap foreign knife, but of some good quality. And I have to say, I've had a couple different knives from those different companies, and this is by far the best one of all of them. Let me tell you right now, if this knife had a Benchmade logo on it, just as is, the exact materials, the exact layout of this knife, Benchmade would easily get probably $90 or $100 for this knife. All right, this one has 440C stainless in it. Came razor sharp. It's very, very solid, beefy, fully steel lined. It's not drilled or tapped out at all. All right, so it adds to the weight a little bit. If Benchmade came out with this knife and it was in, say, 154 cm, you can easily look at a $150 price tag for this exact knife. And honestly, if you closed your eyes and you play with this knife, you would probably feel like it is a real Benchmade. The axis lock on this is extremely smooth. There's a lot of little details in this knife, such as the contouring on the G10 is well done. The spine is rounded, okay? Really nice stonewash finish on this blade as well. Just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. This carries about a $30 price tag. I'll put links in the description box. Look on eBay, Amazon, Alien Express, I know is a big source for a lot of these foreign knives. Yeah, $30 to say $35 max for this model. And for 30 bucks, this completely blows a lot of knives right out of the water. Absolutely, amazing. It really is. It was such a surprise when I got this knife. My initial impressions were very good about it. But I was kind of wondering, once I start using it, how's that edge going to hold? How's it going to feel in the hand? Is it going to be hot spots? I mean, I had no issues with this knife whatsoever. This is the same quality overall as some of my $100+ knives that I've used and owned before. So take a look at this. As you see, there is a axis lock on this. Very simple handle shape. A little bit of a finger choil here. Okay, it's not very deep. So it doesn't offer maybe some of the grips you're going to get from like some of the deeper choils on like a Spyderco or something like that. But it also makes it a little more versatile as well. I love the details on this. Like I said, the rounded spine, super classy, super nice, very comfortable to choke up on as well. The fact that the edge goes all the way down, okay, something you just don't see a lot in cheap knives. Real attention to detail. Nice grinds on this. Like I said, that stonewash finish, I was really, really excited about that because I'm a huge fan of stonewash. I mean, it feels like glass. Absolute quality on this. The heads on the hardware did not strip or anything. I did take this apart to check out the inside. All right, notice that it is set up for a tip-up carry, right side, and you can swap the clip. It is cut out for left side carry. Now, oftentimes when you have a cutout like this, especially on G10, you have very, very sharp corners, and it is sharp to the touch. But in handling this knife, the pinky, sometimes it would rub on there. Most of the time, honestly, didn't even feel it because it kind of carries over the whole area. But if you were to grip it like this, you would feel that, and it'd be a little bit uncomfortable. Full-size lanyard hole on here, as you can see through there. Take a look at those scales again. Yeah, very nice contouring on here. Somewhat of a random pattern going on. The fit and finish is fantastic as well. All right, all around where these liners meet up with the scales. You can see the standoffs on here. Obviously, it is a flow-through design, okay, or skeletonized. There's no backspacer whatsoever on this. As I mentioned before, there's also no liner, there's no cutouts on the liners, okay? So it is a little bit on the heavier side, coming in at 5.4 ounces or 155 grams. The blade length on this is 3.3 inches or 85 millimeters. The close length is 4.9 inches or 125 millimeters, and overall it's 8.2 inches or 210 millimeters. All right, so I classify this as a medium to large size folder. It's nothing ridiculous, but we'll definitely get the job done. I EDC this on and off tons since I got it. Actually, I think I'm gonna put it back into EDC rotation just because I do like it that much. This has got to be the best beater knife. Now, for $30, a lot of people wouldn't consider that to be a cheap beater knife. You know, but all things considered, if you're normally carrying a $100, $200 knife, $30 isn't much to, you know, fork over for something that you can use without worrying about scratches and, you know, getting messed up. So sometimes we have those dirtier cutting chores, and that fancy knife you have in your pocket just doesn't cut it, because although you got it to use it, for some reason a lot of people have that block, that mental block of, you know, wow, you know, I forked over 200 bucks or 300 bucks or even more in some cases. I really don't want to use this to cut a bunch of tape right now and get glue all over my blade. And yes, they are tools, and of course some of us do use them like that, but a lot of you out there, the collector in you hesitates. So that's when you get something like this. You can really appreciate and love your expensive knives, but they're more collectibles. This is something you carry around every day and use. Just, I mean, phenomenal. Because of just the slight choil here and the you know, simple handle design, it does lean towards being much more versatile for all different types of hand sizes. Whether you have really big hands, really small hands, whether you're female or male, any age, I think it'd be very comfortable to hold. It's not terribly wide, okay? It's not a chunky knife. The one thing I could say is the clip was a little tight when I first got it. That's a simple fix, basically hyperextend it. All right, if you have a clip on something, and this is very risky, don't, you know, always do this, but if I have problems where pocket clips are too tight, while it's on the knife, I'll literally just pull it back and hyperextend it just a little bit, and that'll loosen up a little bit for me. It's very tricky though. If you obviously pull it too far and bend it out, it'll be screwed, because then you can't keep bending it back and forth. It'll just weaken and it might even snap on you. A better way to do that would be removing the pocket clip, putting it in a vise, and slowly, you know, bending it. But very easy to adjust that clip so that it was perfect fit on the pants. It does hold very nicely because it was super tight at first. It was gripping the pants material a little bit too much. You know, it was kind of holding on to the pants before it popped out, but after just doing that, totally fine now. The scales they're rough for grip, but they're not overly rough where it's gonna either be uncomfortable or have any issues with tearing your pocket. What else? Thumb stud on this one. I like it. It's a double thumb stud, so it's ambidextrous for both sides. Obviously, with the axis lock, it's also ambidextrous, so very lefty friendly. The one thing I did notice, however, is that the studs are a little bit too close to the handles. Would have liked to see some kind of cutout right here so you can access the back of that thumb stud. You're kind of right on top of it when you're flicking this out. So a little bit more difficult for some people who are newer to knives, but obviously for all the knife vets out there, very easily overcome. The jimping on the back of the spine here, completely useless. It's just, it's so barely cut out. Let me do this and zoom in so you can see nice detail here. It's just such a light cut into the steel. It's just not doing anything for you. You can see that. So anyone who's been around knives, or at least enough knives, you'll kind of understand what jimping is going to feel like just by looking at it, the design. Whether there's sharp edges inside the grooves, or if it's, you know, sometimes a knife company will smooth it out, you know, so it's not too rough on your finger, and then it just completely defeats the purpose of putting them in the first place. So yeah, that's completely useless. But, you know, if jimping's your thing and thumb ramps, I mean, this one's slick. You might not like it for that reason, but for most people, it's not going to be an issue whatsoever. Just what a fantastic knife. I mean, just a pleasure to use. The 440C on this came razor sharp. No issues there whatsoever. Easy to maintain an edge on that 440C. You know, some people like it, some people don't. It's not a super steel. It's not anything crazy. It's not the newest and greatest and latest, but it works, and it works well. Things that come with this, you get this pouch. It's a very cheap velvety kind of pouch, and it has the logo on it. Besides that, I want to show you the box. Now, I got this from a viewer, so I don't know if there's an insert, like a hard part of the box, or if it was just like this originally. Cool looking logo on the front. GANZO or GANZO tools. It says nothing impossible. I like that. It's very cool. And then obviously I can't read whatever that says. If you can help me out, that'd be awesome. But I want to read the back. Now, before I get into this, let me just say that I am in no way making fun of other languages, because obviously there's different language barriers, and a lot of these Chinese made products and other foreign products for that matter, the instructions sometimes aren't worded that great. Now with knives, especially cheap knives, oftentimes you'll see tons and tons of grammatical errors and spelling errors, and just the speech itself is broken. It's broken English. Now, I can tell you right now, I barely speak English, let alone, other languages. And I have tons of grammatical errors in my comments and all that kind of crap. So, I'm not on the high horse here. Obviously, I have much improvement for myself. But I have to point it out. I mean, I have my issues and I can't speak any other language at all, never mind just brokenly. But, I don't attempt to either. If you're a company and you're putting English on a box, you would think that you would just pay someone to help you with that so it's properly done. So it always makes me laugh, but I don't want to offend anyone. Obviously, I have my own issues and with language. But anyway, here we go. So the back says, "Thank you for choosing GANZO knives. GANZO knives can help you deal with all kinds of problems in your wilderness survival and diary life." Okay, when you face kinds of troubles outdoors, GANZO series knives can make you feel more confident. Warning, sharp blade, handle with care. If not use, keep it fold. Keep away from children, made in China. All right, type, folding knife. You have obviously your specs on here. Blade harness, 58, Rockwell. Yeah, obviously axis lock. Here's where I got a really good laugh, okay? Applicable, okay? So, obviously it's a real word, but more or less, I guess they were saying different applications, right? Traveling, mountaineering, venturing, I like that, venturing, pedestrianism. That is awesome. That is the perfect definitive word for EDC knives, right? Pedestrianism. That was very, very unique. I like that. Through the forest, so good to have if you're going through the forest. Collection and defending. So totally give them credit for putting some information out there. Obviously, we know what knives are good for in general. It's completely unnecessary, but thank you for the laugh, GANZO. It was truly a pleasure. Actually, I was choking. I was laughing so hard. Like, and you have to gasp for breath. But anyway, enough of that. The knife is fantastic. I really think that anyone who is really into knives owes it to themselves. This is one of those knives where you owe it to yourself to try it out. I've said that before about lots of knives, like the Spyderco Tenacious and like the K-Bar Dozers, stuff like that. These more affordable, I don't want to say cheaper because they're not really cheaper. I kind of misuse that word sometimes because some people consider cheap to be, poor quality. And I always relate cheap with just, not expensive. But anyway, more affordable knives that are out there that you just have to try. If you love knives, you're going to love this one. This has all the little extras that go into the details of what makes an expensive knife expensive. And like I said, I guarantee if you slap the Benchmade logo on here, it came out of the Benchmade factory, this exact knife with the 440C would be pushing $100 on a price tag. Jack up the steel to something better, jack up the price, another $50. It's totally worth it. 110%, and in other variations too, if you got different handle materials on this model or a different blade finish. I mean, I really do think you guys will like this one. But this particular one really floats my boat with just a simple texture black G10 and that stonewash finish. It's just super, super nice. And when I handle this one, I sometimes forget that it's just a cheap $30 Chinese knife. What they're doing in these factories with quality control is absolutely amazing. I will note that there was no up and down play whatsoever. There was a tiny bit of side to side, and that's only for preference because I do love, being able to drop this, close and open, obviously with the axis lock. You can't get the slop out of the blade, but you might obviously tighten it a little bit too much to be easily flicking it open and closed. But most people love their axis locks because of that. They love being able to, open them and close them just with the lock. It's a nice little bonus. So anyway, the GANZO G717-B is a complete winner and highly, highly recommended. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I mean, I always appreciate your time. I'd love to hear some comments on the video quality. Again, because of the fact that I'm playing around with new lighting, I do have some room to alter things and fix things. It's going to be a little bit of a process of me trying to get everything right so that the quality is top notch. For reference, I'm using my old camera, but with the 1080p setting, which I have never really used in the past. I always did stuff in 720. So this is the old camera in 1080 with the new lighting. All right, and possibly some editing effects if the color is too blue, because I'm looking in the viewfinder right now and it seems a little bluish, so might play around with that. So anyway, that's all. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day, and I will see you soon. Take care.